My name is Jeff Bardrell. I'm the Business Development Specialist at Phycal. Phycal is an integrated advanced biofuels company. We're working on a couple pathways to produce renewable biofuels. In general, we have the first pathway is with a crop called cassava, and the second pathway is with algae. Cassava is a tropical root crop. It is grown extensively in the world as a staple crop, but it is one of the world's most efficient producers of starch. If you can produce starch very effectively, then you are one step away from producing sugar, and if you're one step away from producing sugar, you're one step away from producing pretty much any biofuel out there. Sugar and carbon feedstocks are the key to renewable biofuels. In the algae piece, algae are one of the most efficient producers of oil, of plant oils in the world. So if you were to grow enough biofuels in the U.S. to replace all of the U.S.'s imported petroleum with soybean produces 50 gallons per acre per year of oil. You would need a farm about the size of the United States plus half of Canada. If you did it with algae, algae is so much more productive per acre at producing oil that you would need a farm that's only between 1 and 2 Alabamas. We at Phycal have a very unique process for producing algae, where we start in our ponds and we grow skinny algae out in our ponds with sunlight and carbon dioxide. And we take them out of the ponds and we put them into a closed reactor where we feed them sugar. When they're fed sugar, they can turn from hard green rubber balls into big orange beach balls full of oil. And after that, we can easily extract the oil. The ultimate goal at Phycal is for us to be a global producer of biofuels, from both cassava and from an algae feedstock, or if we find another feedstock that does even better at producing either of those. But we want to have a major impact on continuing the U.S. Energy security going forward, so we can produce our own domestic supplies. We don't impact everyday life quite yet, but we will eventually. Once we can produce enough biofuels at a cost point that is acceptable to the market, we will have a major impact, a major presence in everyday energy prices and energy security over time. You cannot fly jet airplanes, you cannot move large amounts of freight with trains and ships with anything but high energy density liquid transportation fuels. So it's going to be very, very difficult for us to replace air travel and freight travel with things like electricity unless there's a form of high density storage eventually. So in that, for any modern economy to operate, you must have a cheap and sustainable and secure form of liquid transportation fuel, and that's where Phycal wants to be. So at Phycal, we are using biology, and so using biology to do our technology and produce our products that's exactly what we do, is biotechnology. Now we are working on developing the strain side of the cassava and the algae, the early side, developing the plant itself, but also at Phycal we are working on the downstream processes, taking that plant, converting it into biofuels, either the cassava or the algae, and in those processes, those are also biological and chemical based processes where we have to do things like get the algae to extract their oil over time, get them to produce more oil, get them to release their oil with lower energy, with higher purity, and with an oil product that is more designed for the product that we're targeting. For example, renewable diesel or renewable jet fuel would actually, while you can make them from algae oil today, you could make it more efficient. And so we are working on those processes. Nonetheless, it is all a biological and all a technological process.